So the Special Tribunal says it's recovered an estimated 4 billion rand that has been lost to corruption, fraud and malfeasance, and expects to recover another 11 billion rand in the coming months. Now, when it was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa back in 2019, it committed to recovering 14.9 billion rand lost to corruption in recent years. Now, this year, the tribunal ordered a number of companies to pay back monies received from the Gauteng Department of Health for dodgy PPE contracts. For more of what to make of this, let's bring in Selby Makgotho. He's the spokesperson for the Special Tribunal, joins us via our video line this morning. Selby, great to see you. Thanks for making time for us here on the AM Report. So about 4 billion already recovered, 11 billion still in the works, but the target was 14.9 billion set by the President. Do you reckon you can still meet that target within the time given for the Special Tribunal?
Absolutely. Good morning, Ayanda. Good morning to the viewers, and indeed, thank you for having me. What I can indicate is that the target was 14.9 billion, as you said in your introductory remarks, which is correct. But understanding that the civil recovery proceedings on its own, they do take time, because it means now that the litigants must come together. And within the 3 years that the President has actually given us, we are of the view that we have made sufficient strides in as far as the recovery is concerned. We have so far granted orders to the value of 4 billion rands, and the journey towards the recovery of the outstanding amount as per the target continues. I must indicate that in our work, within this short space of time, we have made good progress. However, had it not been the COVID pandemic, we would have done more. But as and when the applications come from the SIO side, we immediately attend to them and are of the view that we are on the right track.
You mentioned the COVID-19 pandemic. It's so interesting to note that the Special Tribunal itself was set up pre-COVID-19, back in 2019 itself. But a lot of the work you're doing now, for instance, has to do with dodgy PPE contracts that were procured in response to the pandemic. How much of your mandate has changed because of the virus?
The COVID-19 pandemic, indeed, Ayanda, was a test and a defining moment for the Special Tribunal. When the Special Tribunal was established, there was no hint whatsoever that there was going to be a COVID-19 pandemic. Fast forward to March 2020, we found ourselves at the center stage, having to grant applications that involved the alleged procurement irregularities. First on our case was the 139 million tender involving the Department of Health. And I must also indicate that we have made good progress in that case, because apart from having reviewed and set aside the contract and interdicting the department from further making payment, the matter is actually set down for trial. The former chief financial officer in that department, Ms. Lekwenya, is supposed to go on trial from the 16th to the 20th. But I must also indicate that there has been some most recent developments in that regard, because Ms. Lekwenya has now issued a third-party notice inviting the Premier of Gauteng to be part of the proceedings. So that has put the spanner in the wheels, because it's a new application. Premier Makura is opposing the application. The matter is set down. I think before the end of next week, we will have had that interlocutory application. We will remember the Eastern Cape 10.1 million scooter project that has been concluded by the Special Tribunal on the 4th to the 8th of October. In as far as the PPE matter is concerned, we have set down for trial the matter in the SIU versus Bait Bridge. Caledon River Properties and another in the Bait Bridge saga. That matter is set down for trial. And also, lastly, at the moment we are seized with the Department of Gauteng in that multi-million, I think it's 431 million tender, which is also before the Special Tribunal. The application is to review and set aside the contract. So much as there was no hint of the COVID-19, but we found ourselves at the center stage, and we are ready to proceed with the matters. As and when the applications come, they are being entertained, and appropriate orders are being made in that regard.
Interesting you mentioned Ms. Lehlunya. That's Kabelo Mhlunya, who's the former CFO of the Gauteng Health Department. She's since spoken out against, I guess, the SIUs targeting her, saying she finds it bizarre that she's actually included in court papers, considering, as she puts it, that 95% of the payments made within the time period in question happened after she have left the department. In fact, she's accusing the SIU of using her as a scapegoat. What's your response to that?
Ms. Lehlunya has filed papers before the Special Tribunal I think 2 weeks back. When we were preparing for the trial, these papers actually arrived, and hence I indicated that she has filed what you call a third-party notice. A third-party notice is actually a legal procedure wherein a person who is not party to the proceedings, but who, however, has an interest, or whom one of the parties believe that he or she could have a case to answer to assist the court to arrive at a particular decision, could be so invited. So this is the procedure that Ms. Lehlunya has used, and the matter is set down for the 19th and the 20th of August. So my immediate response would be, since the matter is now going to appear before court and arguments are going to be held in that regard, so let's leave it until then. But what I can indicate is that last week we had what we call a case management meeting where all the parties, including the legal representatives of both Ms. Lehlunya and Premier Makhura, were also in attendance. And we have given them very strict deadlines wherein they need to file particular papers within prescribed periods, so that when we go in on the 19th and the 20th, we do not have any delays, because it is in our interest as a special tribunal that when the matter is before us, we immediately dispose it of, having given a fair legal opportunity to each of the persons affected to have his or her rights his or her rights having been heard. We will not grant any order without hearing the other side of the story. So that is what the matter is, and that is where the process is as we speak.
Interesting you mentioned the issue of individuals essentially being given the right to respond. We know in one of those instances involving Royal Baka, one of the parties is deceased, the husband of the now suspended, I think still, spokesperson of the presidency, Kusela Diko. He's now passed on. How does that complicate matters, if in any way at all?
Well, there is no confusion in as far as we are concerned, because the late Mr. Diko, I was not cited as an individual, but the accompanying Royal Baka was indeed cited in the papers. And as such, there were also other respondents. So the passing on of Mr. Diko, unfortunately, would not have any impact at this stage in as far as the process is concerned. The other respondents will be appearing before the Special Tribunal, and we do believe that with the trial that is coming on, as soon as we have dealt with the interlocutory application, will then give further light to the process in itself up until its logical conclusion. We have received a substantive application in the form of affidavits from the respondents who have indicated that they are opposed to the application. So it will be at the end of the day up to the SIU and the respondents, 30 or so plus, including the company of the late Mr. Diko, to come and argue the merits thereof before the Special Tribunal.
8 High Court judges had initially been appointed to the Special Tribunal by the President back in 2019. Given the scale of the work that you have to do, including that brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, do you reckon you've been well capacitated to be able to respond adequately to the issues that are arising?
I would answer in the affirmative, and do indicate that actually we have lost one judge. Judge Motle has since joined the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. So currently we have 7 High Court judges. They are all equal to the task, and the commitment that we have seen from all the judges, mindful of the fact that they are also High Court judges, they are also seized with other matters in the High Court. but the level of commitment that they've given to the Special Tribunal is quite commendable. One of the things that actually came before the Special Tribunal is actually, and what I have seen judges actually paying particular attention, we have often been challenged on the jurisdiction of the Special Tribunal to preside on certain matters, and that actually has really put up a good legal question, a good legal argument. But we found that most of our judges have actually been ably articulating on this particular matter. And I think it is also common cause, Ayanda and the viewers, that before the Special Tribunal came into existence, the SIU would queue in the High Courts like any other litigant and find that the matters would take very long to be resolved. So since the establishment of the Special Tribunal with the allocated judges, we are seeing significant progress. We have just had an issue because one of the things that we had anticipated would happen is that the matters that have been enrolled in the High Court would then find expression and their ways to the Special Tribunal. However, it could not happen because we found that there is some element of resistance, mainly from the respondents. We only made one progress in the case of SIU versus Minenhle Makhanya and Public Works. That involves the private residence of the former head of state, Mr. Jacob Zuma. And the matter is now before the Special Tribunal. We have allocated a date. The matter will be going on trial from the 27th to the 1st of October. So with the High Court judges who are there, we hope that we will be able to resolve all these matters, and as per our statutory mandate, to recover the civil monies that have been stolen or alleged to have been misappropriated as a result of fraud, corruption, or any form of malfeasance. We are equal to the task.
Selby Makgotho, thanks very much indeed for your time, sir. Really do appreciate it here on the AM Report. Dr. Makgotho is the spokesperson for the Special Tribunal.